Registration is free. The Taraba Youth Transformation Initiative is strategically designed to identify and equip youth groups with skills to enhance youth development. Registration will take place in all the 168 political wards in Taraba State. Registration starts 31st of March 2025. Venue: all local government secretariats across the state. Don't miss out. Register your youth groups today and take a step towards unlocking your full potentials. Join us and let's build a brighter future for Taraba youths. Ambassador Emmanuel George, JP, SSA, Youth Affairs, Announcer.
No matter how long you live, you cannot learn it all. You can only do your best because you know go feed you all. So if you want to criticize me,
Attention Taraba! Here is a public service announcement to all youth groups and organizations in Taraba State. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Taraba State on Youth Affairs, in collaboration with the Special Advisor, Youth Empowerment and the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Taraba State Chapter, invites all youth groups in the state to register for Taraba State Youth Transformation Initiative. Registration is free. The Taraba Youth Transformation Initiative is strategically designed to identify and equip youth groups with skills to enhance youth development. Registration will take place in all the 168 political wards in Taraba State. Registration starts 31st of March 2025. Venue: all local government secretariats across the state. Don't miss out. Register your youth groups today and take a step towards unlocking your full potentials. Join us and let's build a brighter future for Taraba youths. Ambassador Emmanuel George, JP, SSA, Youth Affairs, Announcer.
no matter how long you live, you cannot learn it all.
Oh woman, do you need loan to grow your business? At Taraba Business Development Center, we offer both business and personal loan with flexible repayment plan. We are located in different parts of Taraba State. Jalingo branch, opposite Civil Service Commission, 183 Amarua Way, 090-3134-4333. Zing branch, Zenith Bank agent beside College of Education, Zing, 070-3125-2559.
Good evening and welcome to the World News on Psalm TV, the pulse of the nation. I'm your anchor, Abraham Manajuda, and we'll bring you the latest updates, insights, and analysis from around the globe, starting right now. Here are the major headlines for today's World News. Turkey detains 37 over social media posts on Istanbul's mayor's arrest. Ethiopia PMs rules out war with Eritrea over Red Sea access. Ukraine launches drone attack on Russia's Angels military airfield. Now, the news info. Turkey has detained over 37 social media posts on the Turkish mayor arrest. The provocative social media posts regarding the arrest of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, the government announced Thursday as protests erupt across the country. İmamoğlu, a key opposition figure and a potential challenger to President Tayyip Erdogan in the next elections. And in a related, in another development across Europe, at least 70 strikes across Gaza, says authorities. There are about over 70 that has been killed and dozens wounded in Israeli airstrikes across Gaza, according to health officials. The strike comes as Israeli military campaign following the collapse of a 2-month ceasefire. Medics report that Israeli airstrikes targeted several homes in northern and southern Gaza. The Israeli military has not issued an immediate statement. On Wednesday, Israeli forces resumed ground operations in central and southern Gaza. pushing deeper into the Netzarim corridor, a strategic area bisecting the enclave. This followed an escalation on Tuesday, which saw over 400 Palestinians killed in airstrikes, one of the deadliest days since the conflict began in October 2023. And since Tuesday, 510 Palestinians, more than half of them women and children, have been killed in airstrikes, according to Gaza Health Authority. And Hamas has condemned Israel's offensive. South Korea to offer visa-free entry to Chinese visitors to boost tourism. It announced on Thursday that it will grant a temporary visa waiver to Chinese visitors in the third quarter of the year as part of efforts to boost tourism and revive sluggish domestic demand. The move comes ahead of an Asia-Pacific summit later this year. The decision follows China's extension of visa-free entry to South Korean nationals and other Asian and European travelers last year. A policy set to last until the end of 2025. We will introduce a temporary visa waiver for group tourists from China in the third quarter to accelerate the recovery of Chinese visitor numbers, said Choi Sang-mok, South Korean acting president. And South Korea is also set to host Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in the fourth quarter in Gyeongju, a city known for its cultural heritage. Government data showed that 16.4 million travelers visited South Korea in 2024, marking a 48% increase from the previous year. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, the country recorded 17.5 million visitors in 2019. Chinese nationals accounted for 28% of total arrivals, with a significant share being women in their 20s and 30s. South Korea's government plans to leverage the global popularity of K-pop, fashion, and Korean cuisine to attract more visitors. Additional measures include customized tour packages focused on Korean foods and beauty products have been prepared in a bid to reach the target of 18.5 million tourists this year. The country's economic growth is projected to slow in 2025 due to weak consumer spending and lingering political uncertainty following the brief imposition of martial law last December. The instability also affected foreign tourism, making a visa-free initiative a crucial step towards economic recovery. Furthermore, in the world, in South Korea, the Constitutional Court has ruled on PM's impeachment on March 24. The court announced on Thursday that it will deliver its ruling on Prime Minister Ahn Duck-soo's impeachment on March 24. The decision follows Ah's suspension as acting president last year, making a critical moment in the country's ongoing political crisis. The verdict on Ahn's fate comes as the nation awaits another high-profile ruling whether to uphold the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol. The Constitutional Court has not yet set a date for Yoon's case and was impeached on December 27 after clashing with the opposition-led parliament over judicial appointments. He has served as acting president for less than 2 weeks after Yoon was suspended following his controversial declaration of martial law last year. In Ahn's absence, Finance Minister Cho Sung-mok took over as acting president while both cases were under review. The court's decision is expected to have far-reaching political consequences, particularly as the nation grapples with its worst political turmoil in decades. Still on the world stage, the next news is in Africa, where Ethiopia has ruled out war with Eritrea over Red Sea access. This story is coming in that the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has ruled out military conflict with Eritrea over access to the Red Sea amid growing regional concerns of renewed tensions between the neighboring nations. Ethiopia does not have any intention of engaging in conflict with Eritrea for the purpose of gaining access to the sea, Abiy said in a statement shared by his office on X. He emphasized that while access to the Red Sea is an existential issue for the landlocked Ethiopia, his government is committed to resolving it through peaceful dialogue. His remarks comes amid fear of escalating tensions escalated tensions after Eritrea reportedly started nationwide military mobilization, and Ethiopian troops were seen deploying troops towards the border, according to diplomatic sources and officials. A renewed conflict between the two countries, home to two of Africa's largest armies, could threaten regional stability and risk humanitarian crisis in an area already affected by the ongoing war in Sudan. Such a war would also undo the historic peace agreement for which Abiy won the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize. Eritrea supported Ethiopian federal forces during the 2022 and 2020 to 2022 Tenge War, which left hundreds of thousands dead. However, relations soured after Eritrea was excluded from the November 2022 peace talk that ended the conflicts. Furthermore, on the African continent, South Sudan President sacks Upper Nile governor amid ethnic militia clashes. He has dismissed the governor of Upper Nile, Mali State, following the escalating clashes between government forces and the White Army militia. The move intensified tensions between Kir and first Vice President Riek Machar, whose party SPLM-IO has accused the government of violating the 2018 peace agreement. The crisis deepens after the White Army and ethnic Nuer militia forced government troops to retreat from Nasir, a strategic town near the Ethiopian border. In response, Greek administration detained several SPLMO officials, including the petroleum minister and the deputy army chief. The situation has fueled fears of renewed conflict in a nation still recovering from a brutal civil war that ended in 2018. In a decree announced on state television last Wednesday, Kir replaced Oya, an SPLMO member, with Lieutenant General James Kwang Chol, who hails from Nasir. The decision has sparked outrage within Charles camp, which has already partially withdrawn from the peace deal in protest over recent arrest. Machar's spokesperson Paul Boats Baolong condemned the dismissal, calling it a severe violation of the 2018 revitalized peace agreement. Meanwhile, Information Minister Michael McCoy defended the decision, stating that Oya was removed to bring peace to the region. The government accuses SPLM-IO of supporting the White Army, a claim the party denies. The White Army, a loosely organized group of armed Nuer youth, previously fought alongside Machar forces during the 2013 to 2018 civil war against troops loyal to Kir, who is from the Dinka ethnic group. United Nations warns that the recent violence has displaced over 50,000 people since last February, raising alarms that South Sudan is on the brink of relapse into civil war. Now to France and Saudi Arabia. French President Emmanuel Macron and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has condemned the resumption of Israeli strikes on Gaza, calling for an immediate return to a ceasefire and the release of hostages. In a statement on Wednesday, Macron said both leaders agreed to co-chair a conference focused on reviving a political solution for Israelis and Palestinians. A return to the ceasefire is essential for the release of all hostages and the protection of civilians, he wrote on X. The discussion comes as Israeli forces resume ground operation in central and southern Gaza, with airstrike killing at least 48 Palestinians on Wednesday. Health officials reported that over 400 people were killed the previous day, marking one of the deadliest days in the history of the fighting. Now to Russia and South Korea. A Russian military aircraft entered South Korea's air defense identification zone on Thursday without prior notice, prompting a response from South Korea's defense ministry. According to the ministry, Russia's warplanes have intruded into the Kurdish 8 times between March 11 and Thursday. Moscow, however, does not recognize South Korea's air defense zone, leading to repeated tension over airspace security. In response to the latest incident, South Korea's defense ministry lodged a formal complaint with Russia's military attaché in Seoul. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, the parliament has passed its contentious amendment to military law in a move that sparked widespread protests, Indonesia parliamentary passed revisions to the country's military laws on Thursday, allocating more civilian posts for military officers. The revision has been criticized by civil society groups who fear it may lead to abuses of power, human rights and violations, and impunity from consequences for actions. The new law requires military officials to resign from the military before assuming civilian posts, allowed to join state-owned businesses. The revisions also extend the retirement age of officers, which could reduce professionalism among soldiers as prospects for promotion will be squeezed. Hundreds of students and activists protested against the legislation, with some burning tires and jostling their way through the gates of the parliamentary building. Activists brought signs that read "New Order Strikes Back" and "Take the military back to the barracks." The passage of the revisions has sparked concerns that Indonesia may be returning to the draconian New Order era of former strongman President Suharto. When military officials dominate civilian affairs, Mohamed Hamid, the head of Amnesty International in Indonesia, warned that activists were kidnapped and some have been returned home. And today it feels like we are going backwards. Thousands have attended funerals for victims of North Macedonia nightclub fire and to pay their respect to the victim of a devastating nightclub fire that claimed 59 lives and injury were attended by a crowd of people dressed in black, holding candles and flowers. The disaster sent shockwaves through the small town of Kokani, where the fire occurred, and sparked widespread outrage and protest against corruption. The government has detained over 20 people, including officials and the nightclub's manager, in connection with the fire, which authorities say was caused by a combination of safety violation and negligence. As the country observes a week of nationwide mourning, authorities have begun inspecting nightclubs and cafes for potential safety violations in an effort to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Some civil wish to commemorate with the victims of this fire outbreak in Macedonia. Back to Africa, the ongoing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo has forced the shutdown of Heineken-owned brewery in Bukavu, exacerbating the economic crisis in the region. The brewery, which employs around 1,000 people directly and indirectly, was looted and severely damaged during the fighting. The conflict led by Tutsi-led M23 rebels have displaced thousands of people, triggered widespread looting, and disrupted essential services. The economic impact is being felt across the region, with prices for food and essential goods skyrocketing, farmers unable to harvest their crops, and banks shut down. The shutdown of the brewery has also had a ripple effect on the local economy, with businesses that rely on the brewery's product struggling to stay afloat. The situation has become so dire that some businesses are considering importing products from neighboring countries. The conflict has also raised concerns about access to clean water, as the state water utility, Regideso, struggles to maintain operations due to a shortage of chemicals for water purification. The international community has condemned the violence and called for an end to the conflict. However, a lasting solution remains elusive, leaving the businesses and residents in the region to suffer the consequences. Now to Europe and Sweden, to be precise. The Swedish government has proposed a bill that will enable police to use real-time AI-powered face recognition technology to combat crime. This move aims to tackle the growing issue of gang violence, which has plagued the country for over a decade. According to Justice Minister Gunnar Strömmer, to push back gang crimes and restore security in society, the police must have access to effective tools. The proposed law will allow police to use AI technology to locate or identify individuals connected to serious crimes such as human trafficking, kidnapping, and murder. Sweden has experienced a significant rise in gang violence, with the EU's highest rate of deadly gun violence per capita in 2023. The violence has become a dominant issue in Swedish politics, leading to the rise of a right-wing coalition in 2022. The new law set to be voted on in Parliament will ensure compliance with personal integrity laws and only be used in matters of particular importance. If passed, the law will come into effect at the beginning of 2026. This development follows the EU's adoption of AI regulations which limit the use of facial recognition in public spaces. However, exceptions are made for employing facial technology to locate missing people, prevent terrorist attacks, or counter-terrorist criminal activities. Now, Hamas armed group claims rocket attack on Tel Aviv. The group has claimed responsibility for a barrage of rockets fired at Tel Aviv, Israel's central city, on Thursday. The group stated that the attack was a response to Zionist massacres against civilians. According to Israeli military, 3 projectiles were identified crossing from southern Gaza into Israel. The Israeli Air Force successfully intercepted 1 projectile, while 2 others fell in an open area. The latest development comes amidst ongoing tensions between Israel and Hamas. The conflict has been escalating, with both sides exchanging blows and accusations. The situation remains volatile, with concerns about civilian casualty and humanitarian crisis mounting. Now to the war in Ukraine. Ukraine military has confirmed the successful drone attack on Russia's Angels military air base in southwest Russia, causing fires and explosions in the area. The air base located in the Saratov region is home to Russia's strategic bombers used to attack Ukraine, as well as a warehouse storing crucial missiles and glide bombs. This development marks a significant escalation in an ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. The Ukrainian military has been actively employing drone technology to target Russia's military installations and disrupt their operations. The Angels air base have been a key target for Ukraine, given strategic importance in Russia's military campaign. The base holds Tu-95 MS and Tu-160 bombers, which have been used to attack Ukrainian cities and civilian infrastructure. The Ukrainian military use of drones has proven effective in targeting Russian military assets, and this latest attack is likely to exacerbate tensions between the 2 nations. Well, I think that's the end of the world news for today. But before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. Turkey detains 37 over social media posts on Istanbul mayor's arrest. Ethiopia Prime Minister rules at war with Eritrea over Red Sea assets. And Ukraine launches drone attack on Russia's Angels military field. And that's it from my hand from the World News. Thank you for joining us today on World News. I'm Abraham Judah. Some TV is your 24-hour source for breaking news, in-depth analysis, and thought-provoking discussion. Stay connected with us every day for the latest updates from around the globe. You can connect with us on Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook at Some TV and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Some TV Live. Thank you. We appreciate your loyalty and...
Attention Taraba! Here is a public service announcement to all youth groups and organizations in Taraba State. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Taraba State on Youth Affairs, in collaboration with the Special Advisor, Youth Empowerment and the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Taraba State Chapter, invites all youth groups in the state to register for Taraba State Youth Transformation Initiative. Registration is free. The Taraba